Is there someone in your life whose energy alone is making you shrink? Like their very presence makes you feel small or that you should hide. Um, it creates some kind of silent pressure. All right. Um, they may not be openly criticizing you, but you can feel that there is judgment there. There is a envy. Um, it's not like a big blowout thing, but there's something inside of you that's saying, this person is not for me. And how it's showing up in your life is that you're second guessing yourself. Okay. Even down to the post that you were about to make online, post on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you are second guessing posting that because you're like, is this too much? You're asking yourself in your daily life, am I doing too much? You're not sharing your wins as much. You just feel as if like you're just like making yourself smaller. All right. Here's the thing is people can keep you hidden without ever saying a word. And in my last video, I talked about the things that you leave on the table when you choose to stay hidden. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper and talk about people that keep you hidden, why you feel as if they're keeping you hidden, because it's actually has not much to do with them. It has everything to do with how you are perceiving them and how much access you are giving them into your life. All right. And as always, we're going to talk about some solutions and some tips on how to break free. I'm Sophia. I'm a fashion business owner. I'm also an inner work coach. I really am dedicated to women bursting out into their God ordained and God given plan for their lives. So, I'm going to start with this short story that happened to me not too long ago. And through this experience, God started showing me this teaching me about this concept of people keeping you hidden subconsciously. Um, so a few months ago, I just had this urge. It was around my birthday, um, and I was trying to quiet it, but I had this urge to start cleansing. Like I cleansed my house, I cleansed so many things, and that led to the thought of cleansing out old friendships. Okay, these are friendships that there wasn't necessarily a big blowout or anything like that with the friendships, but it was just this feeling I had that these three women specifically were no longer for me. Like they were no longer supportive of me genuinely. But yet I still kept them on my social media for all of these years. And I don't know why I just woke up with this like feeling one day of like you should eliminate them from your social media. That sounded very dramatic, but just remove them. And in the past I would have never had the guts to do this because I would have felt like that was petty, but I just felt this time around that like there's no point anymore in having them here, and also they're making you feel like I made the connection of like they're kind of making you feel judged. Like these are women that would watch my stories all the time, my Instagram stories, but would never publicly like on anything or comment on anything. And mind you, in the past, when we were very close, they'd be the first ones to comment and things like that. So it just felt like, hey, this relationship has expired. It's time for them to just be removed. And at this time where I was having these feelings was also the time where God was really telling me, like, it's go time to really start making more content and really start teaching people about what I've placed in your hearts. And I've been avoiding this assignment, being disobedient in this assignment. So I was starting to submit to that. And the funny thing is, me being obedient to that assignment came with me having to remove these women from my social media. Mind you, me and these women, we don't talk much. We don't talk at all. We did not talk, not even much. So I did that. And I just felt like this relief. I don't know what it was. Like I was really proud of myself for for eliminating the access that they had to me. And I kid you not, within a month of me doing that, I gained over 1,000 new followers on Instagram. I really, I'm not saying this to talk about like, oh, look at me, like I got 1,000 followers. Like, no, because I had to pay attention to this because God was showing me that it was connected to me getting rid of these three women. And I'm going to explain how um, certain people will keep you hidden because it's stifling you from showing up authentically and exactly how God wants you to show up. So, the first thing I'll say is that there are certain people in your life that their judgments, you can feel their judgments and it makes you self monitor. So instead of showing up authentically, you are showing up like as if they are a private audience in your life. Okay. Some of these people are on social media. Some of them are directly in your life or could even be living in your house. All right. These people are like, you feel like you can't even celebrate yourself. You feel like you always have like subconsciously ask yourself, like, what are they going to think when I do this or when I say this? So you are always in your head thinking about like how they're going to perceive you. And that is the biggest way that these people keep you hidden because to come out fully and to be fully yourself means that you're embracing yourself authentically. All right. Self monitoring is different from like you trying to operate in decorum. Okay. Decorum means just trying to behave, when you go out and just trying not to be, knowing the time and the place. Of course, that's different. Like if you go into a courtroom, you wouldn't expect me to go into a courtroom looking like this and talking like this. Like there's a certain way that I would need to show up. But the thing is, you know, shrinking to the point of like feeling as if you can never fully be yourself, that is how people keep you hidden. And God is saying that no more of that. It is time to break out of that place. So that is one way. The second place that I saw through my story um, of these three women and just feeling as if they were always watching me is that their presence makes you activate old versions of yourself. Okay. There's some people who you go around, and because they only know you as that old version of you, to keep them comfortable, because you notice that they haven't grown, to keep them comfortable, you stay at that old version of you just to keep them comfortable. And the thing is, you've evolved, you've grown, you've become a newer, refined, creative, expensive, amazing new person. But because you don't want them to feel bad, or you're feeling their energy is like, oh, she's new, she's acting brand new, you want to kind of stay small, especially for people, this advice especially for people who grew up in areas or parts of town, and you've grown out of that, or let's say your parents took you out of that, or there are certain family members who just have decided not to really break free from whatever system they were in. You chose a different route, you became a different person, you chose not to be in any of those shenanigans anymore. This all is also for those people who maybe you used to hang around the wrong crowd. Okay, maybe all your friends used to go out clubbing all the time and just be doing girls, all those things that the girlies used to do, that you have chosen not to do anymore. And when you are in the presence of those old people, old friendships, those expired friendships, you they remind you of those old versions of yourself. And in order to keep them comfortable, you start to become like that old version of yourself. And it is uncomfortable. That is a major way that people are going to keep you hidden. Okay. You keep saying to yourself, like, don't be too difficult. All right. Oh, they're gonna judge you. Like, you know that they're gonna judge you. They're gonna look at you like, who she thinks she is. You know, when people always say this, like when people become famous, I've heard this, like, people who become very, very well known will say, a lot of my friends say that I've changed, or I'm different now, or I'm not the same anymore. That's likely because you're not the same. Okay. When you grow out of a season, or out of a or you mature, you should always expect to be different. And those who are not maturing are going to judge you, yes. And so you have to start thinking, and let me not get into the tips, I'll get into that in a second, but just keep that in mind as far as ways that people are keeping you hidden. Okay. Number three is that you, because of this feeling that you have of being judged by these people and really being criticized, is that you start to perform instead of just express. Performance is exhausting. So you are performing for the audience in your mind, and that is keeping you hidden because it's not your authentic self. The people who want to see your authentic self cannot see you because you're performing like a cast member in a TV show. All right. You are not being yourself. And if you are not showing up as yourself, if you're performing, you're hiding in the background. So those who are looking for you cannot see you. So you always ask yourself, like, what do I want to say? That is a big thing that I've noticed, that um, I stopped asking myself, not necessarily right when I relieved my life of those three women, but just in general, like over this year, I've been saying, like, why do I ask that? What do I, what should I say? I should say what is authentic to me. Okay, I realized that I was saying this a lot because I wanted to make sure I was saying things that was pleasing to other people instead of saying things out of my own truth. I wanted to make sure I wasn't offending anyone, make sure that I was, I wasn't doing things or acting in a way that other people would look at and, think of me in a certain way. That was keeping me hidden. So, just think about that whenever you're really coming. Are you acting from a place of expression? Or are you acting from a place of performance? So let's get into the good stuff now that you have understood how others keep you hidden. This is really what I love, is solutions to this. And this is work, okay? This is your work to do. It's not other people's work to do. Um, if other people have judgment with you, that's that's on them. However, for you to act from a place of confidence and not self-monitoring and fully embracing your authenticity and coming out of hiding, this is up to you. Um, and I believe that whatever I'm about to share with you now is going to be helpful. Might not be perfect, but it's really what I have done to break free from this place. Uh, Start by noticing who makes you feel watched and criticized. Does it go as far as you writing a list? For a lot of us, it's just one person or two people, really. It's not like a big crowd. If it's like everyone is making you feel watched and criticized, like that is more of a social anxiety issue. I'm talking more about those internal, who's creating the internal audience in your mind. Notice who they are. And the next step you're going to take is, if they are, if it is possible, how can you distance yourself from those people? I'm not, this is not about throwing out, because I'm not about throwing people away. If this is someone in your life day to day that you have to see every day and you have to talk to regularly, that's a whole different ball game. We'll put that to the side for now. But if these are especially expired friendships where you all there's just this kind of um, discomfort there, how can you create distance? How can you lessen the access that they have to you? Um, and this leads me to my next point is that I don't want you to confuse boundaries with being mean or being petty. These boundaries are for you to feel safe in yourself and in your own self expression. Feel safe enough to be able to express yourself fully. I remember when I was about to delete those three women from my profile, I was like, man, the first thought that came in my head is, man, they're going to try to look for my profile and they're not going to be able to access it. Or at least they'll see that I've unfollowed them and they're no longer following me because my profile it's public. And I was like, dang, they probably think that I'm mean and that who I think I am. And mind you, I'm all of this is happening in my head. And at some point, I just was like, well, who cares? Who cares what they think? Like, this is my allegiance is to myself in this moment and not their feelings. And I was able to do it confidently. Whew, that was such a relief. So don't confuse those boundaries with you being mean. No, you're just choosing to be free. All right. So the next thing I'll say is to detach from that imagined reaction, especially if the people that are you feel are silently judging you are in your life. This is where you're really going to have to do work here. Yes, there are some relationships that are in your life, and I can't judge you on this. Um, I know I have stayed in friendships and relationships way longer than I should have in some areas, but yes, there truly are some people who have to go, but they're still there. I want you to think about if there's a way to detach their judgments of you from how you respond. So, an exercise that you can do is whenever you're about to do something bold and you kind of feel yourself shrinking, is to write down those thoughts. Get out your journal and write down those thoughts. Even you can write down who you think is saying those things about you and read it out loud. Then I want you to write down right underneath that and say, this is just a thought, and I am going to move forward regardless. Okay. So let's say the thought that you had is someone saying that, who does she think she is in that dress? All right. So you'll say that, who does she think in that dress? And then you'll say right after that, this is just a thought and I am going to move on regardless. You've now given your brain a chance to begin to rewire. You've now created some kind of defense against that thought. Because truly, what's happening with these subconscious ways that you are staying hidden is that you're replaying thoughts that no one has actually said to you. But because of that person's presence, it is valid what you do believe because you do believe they're judging you, but they actually haven't come out to say it. So these are just thoughts. And the way to combat thoughts, in my experience, is to combat it with words, actually coming out and speaking words. I think I have a few videos. Um, I have a video about how to fight negative thoughts. Okay. So it doesn't mean that these people are not necessarily thinking that. They could be, but they're thoughts with them too, but they haven't said it to you. And if they have said it to you, then you combat them with your thoughts too. Be like, those are just your opinions, and I am going to move on regardless. That is very bold to say. Uh, but like I said, this is work that you will have to do to break out. All right. Number five, I don't know if that's number five. I've lost my count, but whatever. Next tip is practice showing up in small ways. You know, it is it is a process. This is not like you're not just going to show up in a big bold way tomorrow that you really desire to. You have to kind of train yourself with small ways to do so. Share one small win. Share it. Talk to someone about a small win that you had. All right, is it at work? Did you help someone out? Did you help out one of your customers? Did you win an award, Employee of the Month? Share it. Talk to someone about it. Do you have a social media account? Share it there. Wear the outfit. I'm really feeling this for a lot of people. I don't know if watching this, like you are scared to wear certain clothing because you don't want people to think that you are a certain way, but you really, really like that dress or you like those pants. Okay. Maybe you wear the pants just to the grocery store and you come back. That's one way to show up small. Like maybe you wear it on camera and you take a video of yourself and you never share that video, but you want to see yourself wearing the outfit. Maybe you just wear it and you just lounge around the house. All right. That is one way that you are showing up small. And it's those small little things that you do every day that it's actually going to build up to changing your character and changing the way that you are showing up. And the last thing I will say that has really, really helped me, and going back to my video, to my social media profile, is um, returning to purpose. Here's the thing: is when I eliminated those women from my profile, I began sharing more videos online, and um, that really is attached to my purpose. Over 100,000 people within a month engaged or watched one of my encouraging videos. That takes me back to my purpose of being able to encourage and empower people to go out there and do the thing that God has called them to do. Imagine if I didn't remove that private audience, I wouldn't be able to authentically walk in my purpose. So return to your purpose. Ask yourself what your purpose is if you don't know. But think about it as a person who is walking in her purpose. What does it look like to stay in hiding or to allow a private audience to keep you from authentically chasing after that purpose? When you really think about it, like the purpose is the driving vehicle. It is the driving force. It gives you more courage to look past all of the ways that people are keeping you hidden and to start walking boldly outside of that. So, your visibility is for the people who need to see you. And your visibility is not for your own ego, which I think is part of the growth, is that it's pleasing to you to stay hidden. However, um, God is calling you to come out. And if He is calling you to do so, it is disobedience for you to stay hidden. I know that sounds harsh, but I'm really, really serious about this because I just feel this urge to really start ministering to people to come out of hiding. Like God really needs us right now to do that. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have some time, watch my other video on things that you are leaving on the table when you decide to stay hidden. So until we meet again, I hope that you stay blessed.